All right, everyone, you're listening to episode 14 of Handy at the Shandy. I'm Boring Jack. I'm joined, as usual, by Adam the Fraud and Table James Games. And we are all back from a nice long break from podcasting. I mean, it didn't seem as long to you guys, but it's nice to be back in front of the mic. I just had to put my Christmas tree out for the garbage to get taken away. Do you guys do a real Christmas tree?
No, we're fake all the way here.
Yeah,
It doesn't surprise me.
During COVID.
Whoa.
Adam the Fraud.
Adam the Fraud with the fake tree. During
Jeez.
COVID, Kim and I were very depressed, as many people were, and we went and bought one of those expensive trees that you can control the lights with your cell phone. And we put it up usually around the middle of October, so that way we can have it lit up orange for Halloween, and it'll stay up probably through June. And just actually last year it stayed up through July 4th because we had it red, white, and blue. So
I am actually kind of jealous. It's still dark in January in Minnesota.
The whole day.
And so having some extra festive lights would still be appreciated. But
yeah, maybe you should get one. Twinkly.
I should get a fake AI smart tree or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Chat GP tree.
Oh, no.
Nailed it.
Glad we got that out of the way. We're back from the holidays. I am back from a secret impromptu trip to Las Vegas where I took 48 hours, like I said I wouldn't on the last episode, and went to Vegas very briefly between the Friday where I wrapped up work for the year and when I actually had to get back in town to see my family for stuff around the Christmas time. But before we get to that little trip report, and there's friends of mine that listen to the show that I didn't tell that I went on this trip because I knew that they'd be hearing it for the first time right here. So that I think will be kind of fun as well, at least for me. And we've got a couple little things to talk about before we get into the 48-hour trip report. And that's not just how long I was in Vegas. It's how long it's going to take us to get through such a trip. So we better get through this topic a little expediently. And this kind of went hand in hand with some discussion around the 4-of-a-kind tracker that James and Kim made. Link to the PDF in the show notes. You know, James talks about how he's always trying to do like little things to augment the fun of gambling. So do you want to talk about a little bit about how maybe even you just came up with the idea of tracking the 4-of-a-kinds and how that leads into your broader ethos?
Yeah, well, I like tracking data to begin with because I'm a little bit of a data nerd that way. And it started by every time I would get a 4-of-a-kind, I would usually take a picture of it and send it to Kim. And then if you remember, before we started the pod last year, there was that one trip. It was my birthday trip last year, even though it wasn't a birthday trip. It's just a March Madness trip at that point, where I would send you every single time I got a 4-of-a-kind. And then you yourself started making a list of like a check mark of this is, you got threes, you got fours. I believe you called it a punch card at the time.
James at the time was trying to be eligible for like the 14th free sandwich or something like that after he had ticked off every type of quad he had gotten. Yeah.
So I think I started by saying, hey, I have a goal this trip. I'm going to be in Vegas for 5 days. I'm going to play a lot of video poker. And at that time, I was mainly playing single line. And I was like, I want to try and get every single 4-of-a-kind throughout this entire trip playing single line. And so I was sending them to you or to Kim or whoever to try and keep track of them. And that was when I started just playing around in Canva saying, I'm just going to create something that I could bring with me to the casino and just have it there to check things off. And it's stupid, but it's fun. And if that's not how I want my gambling, then go ahead and sue me because that's what I want. I don't know.
So what else do you do that's stupid and fun surrounding gambling? Because I've got some stuff here. When you brought this up, I tried to think back to what little things I've got, but I want to hear it straight from the James's mouth.
So if I'm playing a table game, like table games James might play every now and then, Let It Ride, Mississippi Stud, etc.
Really?
Really
play those?
It's really not that often, but I do play it sometimes.
Okay.
So Let It Ride is probably my favorite. It's not even around a lot of places, but I really do enjoy playing Let It Ride. I will look at the first card and then I'll slowly squeeze it to look for the second card. And like if it's a no-brainer, like a pair of 10s or higher, I'll not look at the third card and I'll put it down, make my bets and say like, let's let it ride, because I want to build that anticipation. Like, I don't know. It's Schrodinger's third card, right? It could be the third king under there for 3 of a kind in your hand. So I do that a lot. It's, kind of similar
You see people do that on machines sometimes where like they put their hand over the spinning
over the
reels
slot,
when it's
yeah.
kind of doing a slow sweat for like the third bonus symbol. They put their hand over the reels to like
tapping it.
hide it, and then they move their hand away, or whatever.
I've never seen that work, by the way.
I have done that in video poker before, where I will, especially if it's single line and I'm playing, let's say I get dealt 3 jacks and it's the second, third, and fourth card, I will cover up the first card with my hand and then press the button and then see if it just says, 4 of a kind or whatnot. Or a lot
Do you
of
just
times
hold the first card accidentally?
that's a problem if you're playing, for sure. The other thing is playing video poker is I'll focus just on that first card, like the window, to see if the card I'm looking for is coming out, to try and get a little bit of excitement. So I don't know. I do a bunch of little stupid things. If I'm playing blackjack and I'm doubling down, I'll always ask for it to be face down. Just leaves a little more of that anticipation. It's really interesting because I do all these things that I'm not doing them because of luck or anything. I'm just doing it because it adds a little bit of fun to it. When it comes to craps, I'm the complete opposite. I'm not setting them the dice at all. I'm not trying to hit a specific spot. I'm not placing my chips in a certain area. I don't find that fun at all, which, who knows, maybe it's just because I'm weird.
Maybe it's just because you're weird.
Yeah.
One thing that some friends of mine and I had done, especially if we're all playing like bonus poker or a game where 2 pair plays double, this is something we do at like the View Bar at the D, where we're all going to be playing that bonus poker progressive or something like that. We would have like a competition who can win on the highest number of hands in a row, where anything 2 pair or better counts as a win because you did more than your money back. But then we say that getting jacks or better doesn't upset your streak, so it doesn't add to the counter, but it doesn't reset the counter. And then you could see, hey, can someone get like 5 wins without a losing hand or stuff like that? And yeah, I don't know. It's not particularly fun, but these are the sorts of like little things that you come up with when you're all sitting around playing the same game and it's single line bonus poker. Adam, did you have anything in this arena?
What I like to do, like with slots, because I do like to dip my toes in slots a little bit, is have kind of a budget, even if it's like modest, 100, 200, 300, if it's a short time frame, is to just see how many bonuses I can get, and I will bonus hop. So it's, I play one machine at a certain denom. Hopefully I don't run through the entire budget. Once I hit a bonus, I leave, and then I go to another machine, try and hit a bonus. And it's just about like, how many bonuses can I hit? How many games can I play until the bankroll kind of either doubles or goes completely dry? So I did it in Aria last year. I've done it the year before. And it's just, most of the time, of course, I'm losing. But, you get those rare fun occasions where you're hitting a bunch of bonuses. And even if you're not doubling it and you're not hitting any big wins, you're kind of just stretching it out. And it's just kind of fun to keep track that way. Otherwise, I'll get in that state where I'm just sitting on a slot for a long time, hoping to get a bonus. You hit one. Am I going to get another one? It doesn't really make a difference if you leave or not, right? Generally, the odds are going to stay the same. But for me, it just kind of keeps the action going a little bit, or it feels like the action is going to keep up.
I think that would be a hard part as a slot player. Like as a video poker player who only plays like one game, I just kind of play that one game. And there's no real reason to switch machines, because if I'm just going to play the same game on the other machine, it would just be like a weird guy, superstitious thing to do. Whereas on slots, it's like, well, you actually can just go play a different slot. And so it's like kind of fun to have it somewhat structured.
And it's fun to play like a weird game. Like, you see like the YouTubers who, are playing kind of the ones that we all tend to know, like the Buffalo and stuff like that. They have like a rotation of games that they typically play. Yeah. But, there's these weird, like kind of one-off games. It's like I've seen like Pennies play it online, like Texas Tea or something, like things I would normally not like seek out, or if I saw it in the casino, I'd be like, what is this weird, almost like off-brand Mr. Pibb game that they have over here? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go try that one and see what the bonus is like. And it's because it's almost like side money. Like, I don't care. It's almost like doesn't feel real. Like, it's just kind of funny money. Like, I don't even care what the game is. I'm almost excited to be like, I've never played this before. I have no idea what the bonus even is. Let's just not even read the rules and hope we get something.
Adam doesn't even know if there is a bonus. He's going to like the 3-wheel like cherries. He's like, man, exactly.
Bonus. This bonus sucks.
One little thing that I'll do that's kind of like what James was talking about is I'll play like little games in my head of like what I'll do with the money if I get some sort of like unexpected hit, where I'm like, okay, if I'm at a craps table and I have a come bet out there and I know that if that goes up to a number, I'll be placing another come bet. I'll say to myself, okay, if I hit either of these two come bets with like a yo 11 winner, then I'm going to add that to my odds and like double up on my odds or stuff like that. And so I'll like plan little press moves that I only do if I get this one hit or stuff like that. And it's actually kind of similar to the way I enjoyed that double up feature on video poker, where it's like, oh, okay, well, the next 3 of a kind I hit, I'm doubling. So let's, stuff like that. You can kind of just like play these games with yourself in your head as you go to just, I don't know, break up the monotony.
I thought you were going to be like, I'm going to get an ice cream or something like that.
That's what I thought too.
That's a much better
getting
idea.
A blizzard.
Yeah. I'm going to get double Reese's cups next time I'm at Dairy Queen if I hit this yo.
Double dip that sucker. I just won that bet.
Well, you mentioned something, Jack, about what you're doing with your buddies about going up a number. If you get your money back, it stays the same. If you win, you go up a number or whatever. And that kind of reminded me of the stuff we talked about in the last episode about now if there's a group of us that are playing Ultimate X saying, key handler, stand down. Like that's other ways in a group to make things exciting. And I think just adding to that utility of the gambling, because people who don't kind of know that you're doing that most of the time must just be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, how is that any fun just sitting there?
Well, I do think it's fun to just sit there and press the buttons and not do any of these little things, right? So their point is well taken.
Well, okay.
All right. Last bit before we get into my trip. This is another thing James wanted to bring up. Playing different games when our degenerate friends aren't there to goad us into playing higher volatility options. I mean, I kind of put some words in his mouth for that one there. But he was kind of saying for 2026, he might not play as much Ultimate X and stuff. He's like, unless I'm with you guys, the Ultimate X players, then of course I'll kind of when in Rome sort of thing. But
well, I was at my local and decided I wanted to just play video poker, but not care about Ultimate X and the volatility that comes with it. Now, did I up my bet to dollars 3 lines, so it's $15 a press? Yes, I did. But 7-5 bonus poker is a pretty decent game at that level.
And by that, you mean relatively low volatility and low house edge, all things considered.
Right. All things
so
considered.
Like not only is the house edge a little lower than what you'd normally be playing on Ultimate X, but you're also just going to lose at a much more steady pace.
Right. And I found that to be the case of like throw $500 in the machine and 45 minutes later, I'm at $400. And I'm like, wow, there have been many times with Ultimate X that I'm just gone in like 10 minutes. And I'm like, I'm having a lot of fun here. And I'm like, this is about the same amount of fun I have with Ultimate X when I'm by myself. But when I'm with even just one other person, like if it's just Kim and I, being like getting dealt the straight or dealt the full house and being able to like tap someone on the shoulder and be like, key hand, like look here, like that adds so much excitement that I do believe that when I'm with people playing, I'll still go to Ultimate X. So I just wasn't sure if either of you or if any of the listeners play different. I know we talked about like playing different games with and without friends, but is there anything you're like, no, I go to this more volatile or even like higher house edge game with my friends just because it's so much more fun to do it that way?
Yeah, I tend to cool it when I'm by myself, right? And I think I'm that person for a different group of friends where I'm the one who's kind of goading them into playing something that maybe they wouldn't otherwise. How you guys are that for me. And so, no, I'm totally that way as well. I have gotten, though, because I miss that kind of heat and just the action of it where, I have to play dollars now. Like I can't do quarter, single line. I mean, I can rarely, but like I also don't want to hit my first royal on something that I'm not typically playing, right? Like a denom I'm not typically playing, and dollar, single line, or Ultimate X, quarter Ultimate X is kind of triple line is where I'm at now. So I don't want to miss out on a bigger hit, especially with the WTG standards going up.
Yeah, it's interesting that when James first floated this, I thought he was kind of saying that he's more willing to play higher volatility games, when he has other gamblers around. But I think it's actually just more that you want to play more Ultimate X specifically when there's other gamblers around because it's kind of a fun party game. Because I was like, I kind of view it the other way, where it's like I'm more willing to low roll or play low volatility games or single line if I have friends around, because then I have something to do, or I can play weird games with them that make it more fun. But you're not going to catch me at just quarter bonus poker single line when it's just me. So
No, it's definitely more like it's the party vibe. It's more fun. It's exciting.
Ultimate X, the party game.
Yes, exactly.
Are you the same way with tables, though? Because I don't let any sort of peer pressure or excitement get me to change my betting habits or my limits on table games for some reason. Like, I'm pretty steadfast and like, this is how I play. This is the amount I'm willing to play. Whereas I feel like video poker and even slots, I'll increase my bets kind of based on vibe, which is the worst thing to be doing.
Like if I'm at a craps table and if I'm with some buddies and they want to play the hard ways or the bonus, I'm way more likely to do that with them. So I do think I'll increase the volatility there. If I'm by myself at a craps table, it is way easier for me just to be like playing come bets and odds and just kind of taking the boring way out of it.
Well, I guess, I should say I'm not boring Jack. So I already make the shitty plays anyway. Like I'm already making the bonus bet. So I guess what are you going to goad me into doing? Just making more of them?
Can't do anything dumber than I'm already doing.
Right.
So that was a good review of the ways that we have fun with others or have fun with ourselves. And I had some fun playing with myself between the last time we recorded and now.
Nice.
And I'd like to share a bit about that. And I'd like to share a little bit about that trip with you. And I think we can start with kind of how I did a little bit of the planning around the trip, because I truly did not know going to bed Thursday night that on Friday I was going to book a trip for Saturday morning.
That's fun.
I think part of it was that Thursday night was like really cold. And so I went for a walk and it was like 3 degrees out. And then so when I woke up Friday, I was like, what if I didn't have to do this, right? Like, what if there was somewhere else I could take a walk that was warmer? And as you heard on the last episode, I really did want to go out to Vegas in that little spot before Christmas because it's just so easy to get away. I have no obligations, and Vegas is generally relatively, kind of free at that time. It's easier to get a room. It's easier to get into stuff.
It's a great time to go.
And so on Friday, one of the things that made me say on the last show that I absolutely wasn't doing it was that the flight prices kind of last minute like that were really high. And they were still high on Friday, but they had come down a bit. And one kind of threshold they met is they had come down to the point to where they were inside the budget of Delta miles I had as opposed to outside it.
That's a good one.
It in some sense, it feels kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, I booked it all on points. Like I didn't even pay for the flight. So that makes it more reasonable. But also it's kind of like I bought it on a buy now, pay later sort of plan because, I mean, it was free then, but now the next flight I go to book, I'm going to have to pay for. So it almost feels like I bought it on like an installment plan or something.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not if you get more miles between now and then.
This is not a points and miles show, but yes, I agree.
Damn.
And so I ultimately, because the flights were so expensive, booked some interesting times. My flight leaving Minneapolis Saturday morning was a 7 a.m. flight. But I was actually kind of okay with that because it means that you get the whole day in Vegas. And because I was doing kind of a short trip, I didn't mind landing at the Vegas airport at like 8:30 in the morning and having a whole day ahead of me. The only downside is that like I had to wake up at like 5.
Now I do have some receipts here from our text chain. Of at 11:35 a.m. on Friday, you saying, I'm still entertaining going to Vegas tomorrow for a 48-hour trip. And I said, fucking do it.
Yeah.
And then
this is riveting.
We're equally eloquent privately as we are on the podcast.
And then at 3:55 p.m., you replied to that saying, I'm going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just really like that. I thought it was funny.
I mean, it really was a last minute sort of thing. One other reason that it was convenient for me to book is that I did get 2 free nights comped at Resorts World in a basic Conrad room there. And part of the reason that's good for me is I didn't know how much gambling I was going to do on this trip, or I was more willing to if I started losing early to kind of shut things down. And so I didn't want to be at a place where I knew that my play is going to affect my offers or I'm going to be beholden to this or that. Whereas Resorts World, I really can just take or leave their offers. Like I will take what they give me and I will play there exactly when I want to play there and no more than that. And I know that I'm comfortable doing that. And it also kind of leaned into one of the things that I had mentioned I wanted to do in 2026, which I snuck into this trip, which was some Fontainebleau action. So kind of the combination of the flight being within the Delta miles threshold and getting an actual free room with no resort fee at Resorts World, which I very rarely get. Their comps, for whatever reason, are just not particularly generous in that regard. That kind of 1-2 punch led me to just pull the trigger and say, hey, we'll do it. I'll fly out Saturday morning. I'll leave Vegas Monday morning and come on home.
Now, why did I think you were staying at Fontainebleau this whole time?
I don't know.
Was that a conversation that you had on the pod before about how you were going to use some hotel credits or something and stay at Fontainebleau? Or am I just misremembering?
Well, Adam has done that.
I've done that, yeah.
Right,
I did that on a one-day trip.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were. I thought you were staying at Fontainebleau, Jesse. You haven't told us anything, so I'm super excited for this.
Well, then let's get into it. Saturday morning, 5 a.m., I get up, I get in my car, I'm headed to the airport. You're going to be sad to learn that this was a no syringe plane flight. I was not hitting the old fashions at like 7, 8 in the morning.
Not having like some Nesquik in there or something just to kick off the day.
My Metamucil in a syringe.
Yeah,
I like that.
Ovaltine.
Like I said, land around 8:30. And one thing I did on this trip that's kind of remarkable is I didn't in Vegas at any point use a car. And so I arrived with the plan in mind of walking from the airport to Resorts World. And I did a little recon. I saw a post from Due for a Win where they talked about doing the same thing. They have a little post about how you get from the airport at least out to the main roads. And then once you're on the city roads, I mean, you're on a sidewalk most of the way. I thought walking from the airport was a great experience. I think there are a few things that have to go right to make this be something you'd want to do. I think namely it has to be daylight out and it has to not be the summer. And so it was like 55 degrees and sunny, and I just had a grand old time.
You just had a backpack, right?
No, so I had a backpack and then a roller bag, like a carry-on size roller bag.
Some miles in that thing.
Yeah. I actually stuffed the backpack into the roller bag so I could just have one thing I was dragging with me. And I didn't think it was particularly onerous to like have that with me. I walked faster with that bag than I did walking with you guys on my morning walk, right? Like it slows me down less than people do. So yeah, so no problems luggage wise. One thing that I didn't really like is that there's that big stretch once you get out on Paradise Road, which is the main connector that just runs directly into the airport and continues on north kind of towards the universities and stuff like the West Gate is on Paradise Road, all that kind of stuff further north. Once you get off that road and get to Tropicana, the first main east-west road you get to, you're on the side of the road on a sidewalk that is like not protected from the road in any way. And so you're just like very close to all the cars. And it's just kind of like loud and busy. But
it's a long stretch too.
It is, yeah. So that was one thing. If I had taken the direct route to Resorts World, I would have just kind of gone up Paradise Road and headed straight kind of towards Wynn and Venetian, kind of on that back route. But I didn't really want to do that. I kind of wanted to see what's the experience of walking to the Strip. If you were going to stay anywhere else, you would want to walk down Tropicana west towards the Strip. And so I did that. And it was actually pretty nice. Once you get to the Strip, obviously it's just great. And the time it takes you to get to the Strip is only like 30, 40 minutes. So I don't know, once you get past the gross part, it's just like, well, now you're at MGM Grand and everything is just normal again. And I still have to get all the way to Resorts World. But
and then you walked all the way to Resorts World from there. Did you take the tram or anything?
No, I just walked. Yeah.
So what was the total time?
I did Strava it to see what the time was, and it came back with just some number that was insane. It said I did it in like 50 minutes when I know it was more like an hour and a half. So it like freaked out and miscalculated a bunch of stuff. On the return trip, which spoiler alert, I also walked, it said it took me about an hour 19 of actual time spent moving. Wow. And so maybe it was closer to an hour and a half kind of total journey. But I thought that was a fun thing to try. And I would gladly do that again if I'm there when like I said, if it's temperate out and it's sunny out.
But if you were with other people.
Yeah, I don't think I would do it with other people. I think
it would take too long because they would slow you down.
Yes. It kind of felt like I was getting paid to take my morning walk, though, because I'm not spending on like a cab or an Uber, and I'm doing what I would do if I got to the hotel anyways, which was like, okay, if I got to the hotel at 9, I'd just be doing what I do in Vegas at 9 a.m., which is taking a walk instead of just like getting right into drinking and gambling. So that was a big win. Got to Conrad. I was able to get into a room right away. And so I played a little bit at the video poker bar and had some caffeine. But at this point, I had like 1 pack of Delta Biscoff cookies, and I've been up since like 3 a.m. Pacific time. And so I head over across the street to Tacos El Gordo for some lunch. And I've recommended them a few times on this show, having not been there in, I don't know, 4 years. So that was fantastic. But I was so hungry that I just like ate 5 tacos as fast as you can. And then I went back to Resorts World and got a donut from Randy's Donuts and ate that. And then I passed out.
That sounds like an amazing morning.
Yeah.
I mean, except for the walking part.
Yeah. Everything leading up to the tacos, you can leave. But yes. How's the Conrad room holding up? That's kind of like they've got the red accents and stuff. Crockford's is because Conrad's a middle tier.
Yeah. I actually found the room to be very similar to the basic Crockford's room.
Okay.
The Crockford's base rooms, like the ones that aren't their suites. And they had this whole thing for a little bit there where like, oh, you have a Crockford's room, but if it's not a Crockford's suite, then you have to check in at the Conrad lobby. I don't know what's going on with that because I haven't stayed at Crockford's in a while. But I do think that the basic Conrad room is actually pretty similar to that basic Crockford's room. They have a lot of the same amenities. Like I know they have the same bath products and stuff. The shower was the same. I found it to be a very nice room. And I really, really liked the bed. When you first sat down on it, it felt like it had like no give or springiness to it. It just kind of felt like sitting on like if someone had taken like just the futon portion of a futon couch and just like laid it out as a bed. It kind of felt like sitting on that for a second. I was like, wait a minute. But I slept like a baby on that bed. I think I got like the best nights of sleep that I've gotten in Vegas.
I mean, you also walked from the airport, so let's put that on the table. But I think the Conrad room is I haven't stayed at Conrad. I have stayed at the Crockford Space Room, which is, it's dressed up really nice. Like, bed's nice, all the materials are nice. But it's a fairly basic room. So I think
that's almost exactly what you get with the Conrad room.
Yeah, if you're not getting a suite at Crockford's, it's probably, and you want to save some money, Conrad is a good kind of sweet spot if you're staying at Resorts World.
And I'm immediately back to only getting like weekday rooms from Resorts World and only at Hilton. So it was nice to be able to at least be one level up and get a weekend night in that dead period near Christmas.
Yeah, because I think those rooms are a little bit bigger than the Hilton rooms, which are kind of pretty tiny.
I have a Resorts World offer for midweek that I'm thinking of doing during the birthday trip coming up if I want to stay a couple nights up on that side of the strip. So maybe I'll have to check it out too now since I've never been.
So after my nap, it's probably closer to 2 p.m. at this point, and I spend a little more time at the Resorts World bar, maybe until like 4 or 4:30, have a couple drinks, doing my usual video poker playing. I think this was actually one of the worst gambling-wise sessions of the trip. I probably went down like just over $1,000 over the course of like this 2.5 hour bit. And so I needed a change of scenery, and I go across the street to Fontainebleau. One of the reasons I wanted to go there was to check out the bar top gaming at their solo lounge and see what that's all about, because it had been added within the last few months. And one of the things the bartender told me there on the show, I've always said, oh, it's like their solo club or solo lounge. Like I never knew what to call it. Apparently it used to be called the Solo Club. And they found that people were thinking that it was somewhat exclusive because it had that name and were not entering because it's like it's a club or something. I don't know. But they changed the name to Solo Lounge to try to make it be a bit more appealing, I guess. They added some TVs in there where there didn't used to be. They added some like couches and chairs where there didn't used to be. And so they removed some of the gaming tables and replaced them with just more like places to sit and like watch a game or stuff like that.
Maybe
and they added the gaming to the bar.
Maybe they should change the name Solo, because that's like, if I walk by it, I'm like, well, someone else is already in there. I can't.
You're saying they changed the wrong word.
Yeah.
Instead of going from Solo Club to Solo Lounge, they should have gone from Solo Club to Group Club.
Exactly.
Friend Club. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where like you drop your kids off.
My review of the place. The bartenders there were fantastic. Like I said, I probably got there sometime after 5. And so I was there when the day shift changed it over to the swing shift. Both the bartenders that were there were really friendly and, just wanted to talk about that bar and that space and that kind of stuff. The downside is they only comp up to $20. And
Really?
they fancy themselves as a high limit lounge. So the table minimums in there of the tables they have, I think they have like roulette, blackjack, and baccarat. I don't know if they have anything beyond that. I didn't really pay too much attention. But the table limits are all like black chip limits.
Mm-hmm.
So $100 table minimums. And all the gambling at the bar was what you would expect at some of these higher limit places. So you could play quarters at Ultimate X and some of the gimmicky multi-line games, but all the, single line video poker starts at $1. And it's the usual half and half mix for whatever reason of half the multi-line games and half single line only. The bartenders there were really willing to work with you to get something coming in below the $20, but some things were just non-negotiable. Like I asked for a mezcal old fashioned, and he said because of the dollar threshold, they don't actually have a mezcal.
It's okay. You're getting choked up about it. You don't have to. I mean,
They
we're
don't
past
actually-
this now.
They don't actually have a mezcal on the bar that they can comp a cocktail containing it. So like
Wow.
to make a mezcal old fashioned is beyond what they can comp.
What are the pay tables?
The pay tables are basically what you would expect from everywhere else. So like at dollars, it's all the like 97 to 98% games. So you get your 7-5 bonus poker at dollars, but then most of the other games, it'd be like 8-5 jacks or better, 8-5 bonus deluxe. I didn't pay too much attention because I was mostly looking at Ultimate X, and it was the same as everywhere else.
So it's
Good
the same
recon.
as Palazzo for
Yes.
you, and that's $65 comp, whereas Solo Lounge.
So that's what I was going to ask.
Well, that's what so I was talking to the bartender about this, and I kind of said the same sort of thing where I said, not only is this not competitive with the other high limit lounges that offer the exact same games, like Palazzo at $65 and Resorts World high limit at like $100, it's not even competitive with like the Chandelier Bar,
right.
which offers far cheaper games and does $25 comp.
It's not competitive with their sportsbook bar, which I think they comp a few dollars higher.
My guess is probably also 20 at the sportsbook bar.
No, I
but
think it was higher than that. I said it on a previous episode. If anyone listens
Roll the tape.
and wants to go back,
Yeah.
this is where it will be inserted. No, it's not.
Yeah, Jack, do some editing.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure. But either way, like it's not competitive at all, and like
That's ridiculous.
it's even laughable if I am remembering correctly. If it's not even competitive with another bar of lesser quality, no offense to Sportsbook Bar, at their own property. Like, what is it at High Limit Bar at Resorts World? Where you were
Well,
just at?
it's two different things because they have a dual light system, but I can get up to $100 comped at Resorts World.
Right.
And anyone that's playing like $10 a spin or slightly less than that, but slightly faster, will be able to get the same comps, right?
And at Crystal Bar at Resorts World, it's over 20.
It's like 25. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're,
Mhm.
and so I was saying that to the bartender. He was like, "Oh, he wants to comp more drinks." He's like, "If you have like a host or anyone that you can give the feedback to, let them know because we want to get people
Yeah.
giving feedback that this isn't." But apparently they are still just working a lot of the stuff out. Like when those games first went in on the bar top, they were just actually a copy paste, basically, is what they said, of the games at their tavern.
Mhm.
And so they did have a lot of dime games at multi-line and quarter games at single line. And so they didn't even know they were trying to be a high limit space
Mhm.
at the outset of those games.
Do you think that's the same limit for the table games players in that room?
I didn't ask, and that's a really good question.
Because I just wonder if there's just a different level, right? Like if you're playing $300, $400 a hand at blackjack, like you probably already have a host there and they're just going
Right.
to comp it anyway.
Mhm.
But I wonder if there's a person that's like, no, you can just comp that because they're playing more.
Like, no, sorry, sir, Jim Beam. That's all you can have.
No, sorry, that's 21. You got to.
Mhm. Mhm.
I do think I was able to get makers in an old fashioned if I wanted it, but no mezcal was comparable.
Mhm.
There was a small win for me asking for a bad button to be repaired. And this one was interesting only because I was like, well,
Because that was $19. If you ask for two, they're going to say no.
Say no.
That's a $40 fix. We can't do that.
This one was good because this is one that I could have fixed on my own. Like I first sat down at a machine, put all my money in, and then I realized, oh no, this is just a single line game king. And so I moved one seat over to a multi-line game. and started playing it, and the deal draw button just straight up wasn't working. And I was like, okay. And then I moved one machine on down and everything was fine. But I did this like whole rigmarole after first sitting down that was probably silly to look at. But so I had them call a slot tech over, and when they opened the machine up, you could just actually see the button was unplugged. Like there's some sort of like little pluggy wuggy on it that like,
Yeah.
that's the technical term. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That you can see like, oh, these two prongs go into this receptacle that's just kind of sitting below it instead of being plugged into it. So yeah, this is good for my budding slot technician career.
I think in the future, you're going to start just bringing your own buttons at this point.
I would, if I wouldn't like get arrested for doing for messing with the machine.
But now you know what to ask for. Be like, hey, I think the pluggy wuggy's messed up. So if you just, get one of those in there.
Exactly.
Did they thank you for telling them? Like, because remember when we did that at the Chandelier Bar? Like, oh, thanks for letting us know. Like, we need people to tell us this.
No, I don't think I got any plaudits for that.
You didn't get a tip?
No.
Tipping culture. We have to tip them when we win a
should tip us
jackpot.
out,
They
yeah.
should tip us when we successfully report a bad pluggy wuggy.
Mm-hmm.
So I got pretty sauced off $19 drinks at the Fontainebleau Solo Lounge, and then decided it was time to go play some craps and try some table games there. Found a $25 table on the casino floor at Fontainebleau, and it was like reasonably crowded, but maybe 4 or 5 people on each side, standard full craps table. So that was nice.
It's the fullest I've ever seen a craps table at Fontainebleau when I've been there.
This was a Saturday night, and it was one of like only 2 tables that were open. So I think that's going to be part of it. This was a good session. I think I ended up probably up to $300, so nothing too exciting. It was kind of up and down. One fun thing that happened that I always like to point out is the guy next to me, they pushed him the dice like right as the cocktail waitress comes around. And he's like asking her some question and talking to her about something. And he's taking long enough that they pull the dice back to the center, which I don't know if that's like a passive aggressive thing or like a game protection. Like every craps table I've been at, if something interrupts the shooter's ability to actually pick up the dice and throw them, they'll just bring them back to the middle. But I don't know why that is. Like it makes sense if it's something that's not related to the shooter, that if like someone else is like, oh, actually, hold on, the bonus bet isn't right or something, they'll pull the dice back to the middle and like figure it out. But like, I don't know, he's going to like just turn back from the waitress and then you're going to push him the dice. Like, I don't know. I'm curious if anyone knows why that seems to be the policy, that like, if the shooter's not actually going to pick them up, you take them back. But he takes so long with the waitress that not only do they pull the dice back to the middle, but then the new stick comes in to relieve the old stick.
There's a whole shift change.
Yeah, he eventually grabs the dice, throws them down the table, boom, winner 5, pay the line, pay the odds, table win. And I always like to point that out because everyone's always like, oh, it's, in this spot, you always know what's going to happen. And no one ever points it out when you just fucking nail the number everyone's been waiting on. So
what did he order?
Well, I'll have you know that he ordered a Heineken Zero.
Oh.
And I was like,
she was giving him so much grief. It took that long.
No, I said to him, oh, that's actually a pretty good beer if you don't mind that it tastes like Heineken, which is kind of my review on it in general. But
I love that you pointed that out. So I was playing craps a few weeks ago when I was up with my family for the holidays at their local casino. And it's a $5 table and I'm playing super low and I'm just like having a good time. And every time something happens, like if I threw the dice off the table, I'd be like, you know what they say? Always a winner. And every time there's a stick change, I'd be like, you know what they say? Every time there's a stick change, winner, winner. And then I would like 2 times in a row, I hit the point. And the dealers were cracking up. They're like, man, you should hear all the bad luck that people think that is. I can't believe you think it's good luck. And I'm like, no, I'm just being an idiot because I'm, again, trying to have fun at the craps table. So I also love to point it out when something that's supposed to bring bad luck to the table, I'll be the one that yells out, every time a stick change, it's a point. Every time.
Yeah, but it might have been a kind of double negative situation in this case where we had both the waitress and the stick change. And
that's right.
Oh,
that's
yeah, canceled out.
Yeah. Have a good crap session. I decide I want to fire away a bit more at Fontainebleau because I did get a card with them. This is my first time having a card at Fontainebleau, and so I want to put in some serious play to get better offers. And I needed to sober up a bit, so I was like, I can just play some video poker while I drink some water and stuff before bed. I take a quick look at the solo lounge. It's all busy. So then I head over to the tavern, and this is at like 9:55. And as soon as I sit down, they're like, we're closing in 5 minutes. And I was like, I thought they were open 24 hours. I think the 24 hours is like Tuesday through Saturday. They're open 24 hours. And then Sunday and Monday, they're not, or something like that. So I played ever so briefly there, went back to the solo lounge, played a little more, and then realized I never got dinner. I had my 5 taco donut extravaganza at like 1 p.m. But now it's like 10 p.m. and I haven't eaten. And so this happens to me way more often than it should. But I head back to Resorts World, place a takeout order for like a burger and fries at Junior's, which is their 24-hour restaurant there. It's like I think it's a New York spot that's known for their cheesecake, but it basically is just their kind of 24-hour large menu Grand Lux Cafe sort of place. I play a bit more video poker at Resorts World while I'm waiting for that order to come ready. And so by about 11 p.m., I'm back in the room, scarfing down a burger and going to bed.
What a night. How much did Juniors cost? Just out of curiosity.
I was not even paying attention at that point. I know that they charged me extra to have both raw and sauteed onions on the burger.
Oh, this is why Vegas is dying.
Charging you extra for onions. They should be paying you to take those.
She was kind of taken aback. She was like, "Oh, do you want raw or fried onions on that?" And I was like, "Can I have both?" And she was like, I mean, I guess, but we're going to have to charge you. She seemed to think that was going to be a kind of a sticking point for me. Anyways, Sunday, get my morning walk in, wake up, have a bit of caffeine at the video poker bar. And that morning I started on bonus poker, Ultimate X. I was like, if they're going to offer it, I guess at Fontainebleau I won a little bit of money. So I'm probably down like 1,000 on the trip at this point. So I wake up, I'm like, I don't need to just start digging myself a deeper hole on what's supposed to be kind of a lower gambling trip this morning. So I start on some bonus poker, get some caffeine, take a walk down to Mandalay Bay and back. And by the time I'm back,
casually drops that in.
I mean, I don't know. And by the time I'm back, the 10 a.m. football games have kicked off. So I get to watch like the worst Vikings football game against the Giants.
But it's so nice being from the Midwest and being able to see a football game at 10 a.m. Like it just feels good. Like for me, like having a cup of coffee, watching a football game just feels right.
It's like being back in college, where in college I didn't wake up till like 11 a.m. on a Sunday anyways. And then the games would be on right away. And so, it really reminds me of that, where you just like wake up and there's football. So, and obviously I did not have to watch the Vikings. There were other games on that had more interesting things happening and actual implications. But I ultimately settled on going to Delmonico for lunch. I basically just did dinner for lunch. They bring you some popovers as their kind of bread service there. And I just ordered a steak and some asparagus.
You've been doing this. This is like the second time you've done that. You did this with Peter Luger, didn't you?
Well, I did it with Joe's.
That's right. Okay.
Stone crab. Yeah, and I had a good enough time doing that. I figured I'd try it here. I kind of wish I hadn't in retrospect. I wish I had done like their prefix lunch menu where you get like a salad, a burger, and a dessert or something like that. Because this was rich enough that I filled up on it. Like I really wanted to try that banana cream pie dessert, but I didn't have room for it. Like I ate most of the steak. The asparagus was actually kind of undercooked. So it kind of had to chew through that a little, but I ate most of the asparagus, ate most of the steak, and kind of just threw in the towel and headed on for a brief stint at Cosmo.
Ooh.
And when I got there, one of my favorite bartenders, Cody, was working there. I was seated down at the end on one of those machines that's single line games only. And I thought to myself, I don't want to play single line video poker. So what I'm going to play while I wait for a game to show up is some video blackjack. And I think this is the first time I've ever played bar top video blackjack. And I'd seen enough people do it at Cosmo that I did know one trick, that if you're going to bet more than $1, you should play $2 denom. Because if you play $2 denom betting 1 credit, then you can double and split.
Okay.
I think you can double on 10 and 11 only. So you can't double on soft totals. You can't double on nines. I mean, these video blackjack machines have the worst blackjack rules you've ever heard of, right? They play even money on blackjacks.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, because of the overhead.
They pay even money on blackjacks, and then they have all sorts of other restrictive rules about doubles and splits and stuff.
I need to know, how did you come to that choice? Like, I don't want to play single line video poker. I want to play bar top video blackjack.
I just
I
wanted
would rather play
something.
Keno.
I don't know. The bar top is, at least it's interactive. You get to like make a decision on each hand and watch cards come in and stuff like that. I don't know. I won.
If only there was an interactive game where you could watch cards come in with each hand on that machine.
Yeah.
That you could have played instead.
Didn't want to. I did get off to a ripping start where I won like, 7 of the first 8 hands. And so I was up a cool $12 real fast there. And
did you play enough for your light to come on at the Chandelier Bar?
Oh yeah, once you play like 10 hands at $2, the light will come on or whatever it is. I think it's like the first 20 and coin in, the light comes on. But I could see that there were people that were going to be kind of getting up soon. Like it was 2 guys and one was already clearly kind of like done and gonna maybe get up, and then the other guy was just kind of finishing his drink kind of thing. I wasn't just going to sit there for like 40 minutes playing video blackjack waiting for a seat to open, but I knew it was going to be a short stint. Indeed it was. I moved over to my Ultimate X. And Cody just started laying the drinks on me. The first instruction I gave him was, I just said no to the banana cream pie down at Delmonico's, despite really wanting a dessert. Can you make me some sort of like fruity dessert drink? And he made this like really cool peach something or other. I don't even remember. And before I even got like halfway done with that, he put another drink in front of me. He's like, I just made this one for that couple down there, and I really want to see if you like it. And so I'm getting like a backlog of drinks from Cody here, just because he knows that I want to try stuff and he wants to get my opinion on it. So that was really fun. I also was still playing my bonus poker Ultimate X there. And I was so torn. I was like, when should I switch to my regular old double bonus? Because the correct answer is right before you hit a 4 of a kind.
Exactly.
Because at bonus poker, all the 4 of a kinds pay exactly half of what I'd expect at double bonus, which I mean at least proves it's a well-named video poker game. But I don't know, like Adam, you on the last trip switched between bonus poker and double bonus on these various sessions from time to time. How do you even decide when to do that?
It's just all about feeling. You got to be
vibes.
Aligned. You got to be one with the machines, I think is what it is. And very few people can really tap into that. Like I
went based on feeling, and that, but
right,
that
you're
feeling
just cutting
was
me
really
off, and I was giving some really astute advice, but that's fine. No, please
my
continue.
feeling was primarily based on BAC, and so once I had enough drinks in me, I was like, all right, we're done with the bonus poker. Get that shit out of here.
Yeah, I don't have that feeling anymore.
Right.
So I don't.
So where do you get your vibes from?
It's just I can't even really describe it in a way that would be adequate enough for the listeners. So we'll, maybe I'll put out in a newsletter.
Okay, sorry I interrupted.
It's the feeling in the loins, I believe.
So had a nice long session at Cosmo. I probably played from like 1 to like 4:30. I hoofed it back up to Resorts World to really just kind of pound away at some video poker. My plan at Resorts World, because I didn't lose money at Fontainebleau, in fact won a bit, didn't lose money at Cosmo, I was ready to actually fire away a bit more. I keep getting some drinks there, and I'm playing my regular double bonus. I remember at one point I hit like a big $800 4 aces on a 4X to get back to like even on that session. And at that time I was like, okay, one thing that I said I was going to do if I got like a big hit is go play one big hand of Ultimate Texas Hold'em. And this is kind of like what we talked about earlier in augmenting our gambling. I was like, I need to just play a big table games hand. And so the Ultimate Texas Hold'em table in their high limit room is a $50 minimum. But what that means is you really need like $300 to play one hand, because not only do you have to start by making 2 bets at Ultimate Texas Hold'em that are both compulsory, so you have to start with 2 $50 bets in order to even play, but then you might have to back up your main bet with up to 4 times the bet in the back. And I had to. I got dealt a king and a jack, which is a pretty strong starting hand. And Ultimate Texas Hold'em is just your random starting hand versus the dealers. The way that you kind of get the edge back over the house is that you can add to your bet if the situation's favorable, but you don't have to add any money if it looks like you're going to lose. But if you start with something as good as 2 face cards like that, you do in fact have to make the max wager right off the rip. So I did. I had my $300 there, and the board came out like 7, 8, 3, 3, 10. And I was like, I mean, it's not the worst. As long
Right.
as they have no ace and none of those cards I just listed, then I could
Pretty
win.
good.
But instead they had just like 7, 4 for a pair of sevens,
Mm.
and I stormed off.
Now, you said that you really wanted to fire away at Resorts World. What was I mean, was it just because that's where you were staying? Was it comp purposes? Like, why not just stay at like Cosmo, where you tend to stay more in MGM and Cosmo specifically?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to get back, I think. I
Okay.
actually wanted to stay shorter at the Chandelier Bar than I ultimately did. Like, I overstayed in my head sort of plan of what I was going to do that day, as I was thinking it was going to be more like a 2-hour in and out sort of thing, and I ended up going for like 3.5. And yeah, I wanted to play at Resorts World. My favorite bartenders weren't working there that weekend, but the guys in relief of them were quite good. And the barback Paulie, who I like there, was working that weekend, and he was fun to hang out with. So yeah, it was just on to the next place, trying not to get stuck doing the same thing for too long, which is again why I did this little brief table games escapade. And then again, went for another crap session at Resorts World.
Oh.
And that one was a $15 table, which was nice. And so I was able to play $15 with my same $50 odds that I was doing at the Fontainebleau. I guess you only get $45 odds on the 4 and 10, which comes up fairly often when I forget and put like 2 green chips behind and they have to remind me. But yeah, the craps was good. I think I probably won like $30.
Ooh.
I was in a good mood, so I probably tipped out the dealers in winning bets like closer to like 50 or $60 on that session, because it was kind of a long up and down session. It got to be about 8:30, and I was like, well, I'm not making the same mistake as last night. I'm going to go get some dinner. And I tried a place I had never tried before, which was Genting Palace, the like kind of nice Chinese restaurant there at Resorts World. And it was like empty. That weekend, Vegas didn't seem particularly empty because there were just so many families there. You just saw lots of people with kids going around. Genting Palace, though, there was maybe like one large Chinese family eating there, and then like one other couple, and then it was me, and then that was the people in the restaurant at 8:30, and they didn't close till 10. I thought the food there was all right. I think I over-ordered a bit. Like I got like a noodle entree, and then like a stir fry, and then like a little like 4-piece shumai or something like that. I got like this beef entree where everything was cut like in thin strips that were somewhat uniform, even though it was all sorts of different stuff. I don't want to say it was like julienne or anything like that, because it wasn't that thin, but it was like thin strips of beef, carrot, pepper, onion, and like bok choy or stuff like that. I forget what else, but it was like a really cool stir fry that was served with homogeneity of thinly sliced stuff. I don't know, kind of fun. I thought that was really tasty. I thought the noodle dish was just kind of like oily noodles, so I didn't dig into that one as much. Then loaded up on some water while playing video poker, and that was, I think, a big win, because I drank a lot on that day, partially because Cody was practically pouring drinks down my throat, and partially because that's what I do when I'm in Vegas. And so I had a after dinner session where I just kind of put back as much water as I could and went to bed, and felt pretty good on Monday, and ultimately just kind of hung out in the room until it was time to walk to the airport.
For the walk to the airport, did you take the same route, or did you do the more direct route on the way back?
I did just take the same route.
Okay.
I don't want to walk down random Vegas side streets if you can walk through like the casino corridor. Like walking down the strip is just going to be much more fun, even if it leads to a slightly longer walk in the end.
Yeah, I agree. I've just been waiting this entire time to ask that question.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you didn't ask it, I would have.
Yeah.
So I think on the trip, I ended up down $1,300. So it was basically, yeah. And in some sense, it feels extra not bad, because that's where I was like within a couple hours of starting to gamble on the first day that I got there. So the rest of it was all pretty up and down, which was nice. I did have a couple fortuitous hits to get back to that point on that last session of the night, so it could have been worse. But then I also had I had a 12, 12, 12 running with 3 4s dealt, and it's like any 1 4 in these 6 remaining spots, and I'm even on the trip, and managed to whiff that. So even though I got some lucky hits to get up to that minus $1,300 threshold, I still feel like I kind of got screwed there on the end.
Of course. we always get screwed.
Missing that DEFCON 2 draw. But that was my 48-hour trip. I don't think I really did too much out of the ordinary, other than the Fontainebleau stint where I hadn't played before and trying this airport walking experiment.
And never again.
Oh, no. Most times. I don't know. We'll see. I will say that the walk to the airport is way less fun than the walk from the airport. Because you go from the casino corridor to just this desolate stretch of like suburban highway, basically.
And just everyone going to the airport in a regular mode of transportation. It's just like, look at that sad man leaving Vegas.
He lost so much money, he can't take a cab.
Yeah.
One last gripe about the Las Vegas airport.
Oh, a gripe.
Not only did the D gates, where like all of Delta flies out of, I think a lot of United is out of there as well. Not only did the D gates not have a McDonald's, there's not a McDonald's at the Las Vegas airport. Like there just isn't one.
I mean, don't you just go into a lounge and get food for free?
Geez.
No, the lounge looked really busy as usual.
They should make a McDonald's lounge.
I don't know. You guys didn't seem to care about that. I can't believe there's not a McDonald's at the airport. That's shocking to me. I would have set the over under on like 2.5.
I'm a McDonald's fan, so
Same.
yes, that does shock me. And like at O'Hare, there's one every 13 feet,
Right.
I think, contractually. But yeah, that's disappointing to
So I
hear.
had my Jamba Juice, and all I wanted was some French fries.
Yeah,
And
T's
I
and
wasn't
P's.
going to go to Burger King for it. That's for fucking
I
sure.
kind of want McDonald's now.
We might have to take a pause here.
Mm-hmm.
Get some McDonald's.
I need 2 cheeseburgers.
Well, I think we will take a pause here and come back and visit with you guys in hour 2. I think hour 2 is going to be us going mostly through listener feedback because we got a fair bit of it, including we got a bit of listener feedback from a bartender that Adam was properly miffed at. And this same miffed bartender managed to find me on my most recent Vegas trip and give me an earful about what he thinks about Adam. So that's a little tease for what you're going to hear at the end of hour 2.
Get in line if you got issues with me.
On that note, for Table Games James and Adam the Fraud, I'm Boring Jack, and we'll talk to you in hour 2.
See ya.
Bye-bye.